Hi everyone, as promised, here are all my Phalaenopsis. So most of my Phalaenopsis are rescues. They are ones that I've gotten from Woolworths, Bunnings, where they've lost their flowers and nobody wants them and they're just put into a corner to die in sphagnum moss. So I go up and ask the people who work there if I can buy them, and most of the times they'll actually give them to me, which is really lovely. The lady at Woolworths, the florist, lovely Jo, she was able to give me quite a few. So all on this table except probably 3 have been rescues. So over here, most of these guys were in really bad shape, being in sphagnum moss, so we have had a bit of root loss, but they're all putting out new leaves. This one here was actually my very first rescue. That was a little mini phal, and it was almost dead. All those bottom leaves were totally dehydrated, and she has grown out that leaf on the left for me. This one's in bark. I'm not a fan. I've tried bark and the Cana clay beads, and I much prefer the Cana clay beads, especially for my big phals. If they've got a good root system, I find when I put them into the Cana, they do okay. With the Phalaenopsis species type, so this little guy here, which is a Bellina cross, I tried putting these into the clay and they just lost all their roots. They didn't do so good. So I've put them back into some sphagnum moss to try and encourage some root growth. But all of the big ones, they don't seem to mind. They do really well. So once again, this one here, this one's name's Phyllis. She was one that my sister gave me and started my orchid craze. And Phyllis was from Coles, I think. She's a white Phalaenopsis, and she was in sphagnum moss, and she's grown 3 leaves for me. So she's grown this one, and this new one here. I find when you put them in the Cana clay, a lot of the roots that grow are aerial roots, and you do suffer a lot of roots loss, what's actually in the pot. This one here, lovely big phal, and they're really quite big orchids. This one was from Woolworths and has grown me a beautiful big leaf. This one's a newly acquired one and hasn't done anything too much. This one here, another Woolworths rescue, and it's grown a lovely new leaf. This one was a little mini phal that I got from Bunnings, and it's grown a new leaf for me as well. So it's doing really well in the Cana. What else can I show you? This was another species that I purchased and put it into the clay, and it just didn't do well. I don't know if it's a species thing, but I just don't like it. I have 2 that I still have in clay that are hanging on there. This one I just repotted this morning actually. I put it in bark, and to be honest, I'm going away soon for my 50th birthday celebration, and really I just want things that are going to be able to be self-watered while I'm away, nothing in bark, because my niece will be looking after my orchids and I want to make it as easy as I can for her when I am away. But this beautiful one I got from Gary at my orchid club, and I hope to heck this one survives because it's got beautiful flowers and looks lovely and lush now, so fingers crossed. And moving over here, this is my little orchid called Poppy. This is Poppy Orchid, and this is her chair that she loves to sit on. Hey Pop! And Poppy is 10 years old, and she is my little best friend, aren't you, darling? I love my little dog. So that's her little princess chair she sits on in the middle of all my orchids. Then over here we have, this is my big Bunnings phal rescue crew. So I know it looks very dark here at the moment, but this is absolutely so bright you almost need to wear sunglasses in this room later on in the day. All these big guys, you can see here, this is a beautiful big leaf. It's grown since being here in Cana. All of those aerial roots were actually already established, but yep, doing well. This one hasn't really done much, hasn't grown anything. This beautiful one here, another new lovely leaf, nice big, these are big phals. And this big guy, this one I happen to know the colour of. It's like a purpley white striped flower. And the reason I know that is because it had some blooms still sort of shriveled up on it when I purchased it from Bunnings for the great price of $5. And finally, out of all of the ones I've rescued, this one finally has got a new leaf growing. I was beginning to think it wasn't going to do anything for me. Over the back here, this one I've just mounted. It's a little Deliciosa phal, and it seems to be doing okay. It's got all new roots, so it's not dying back at all. It was in a little 50mm pot as a seedling, so I decided to mount that and see how it goes. So it just sits there, the back of the chair, gets some nice light. And then over here, this window, this is the window where we get all the lovely light come through. I have two species over here. This one, I don't know, it's hanging in there, but I don't know. It's not dying back as bad as the others. It does have a little flower spike, but it hasn't grown any since I've had it. This one here is what's this one? This is a Phalaenopsis cross. It got a little bit of rot fungus there, but I've treated it and it seems to not be spreading anymore. These little guys I had in clay and just didn't do anything, so I've just popped them back into some sphagnum moss and hope to heck that they recover. I mean, this one looks so healthy and lovely, and I thought, yep, this one's doing great in the clay. And then it started to die back a little bit on that right hand leaf. It just started to look, you can see it looks starting to look a bit shriveled. So I pulled it out of the pot and all its roots had pretty well much died. And it has these roots that grow, you can see in here, and they grow and they're like sort of nodule, and then they just stop. They don't grow anymore. It's really weird. I don't know, it's like it's got deformed roots, but I don't know. All of these ones came out, they were flasked seedlings, so they came from somewhere in China, or I'm not really sure, Malaysia somewhere, but so I don't know if it's got something to do with that. This one here, another little Bellina, totally lost its center leaf. It just went all black and fungy, so I had to chop it off, and I don't know if that one's going to make it. But this one, this was a Bunnings rescue, and like all phals, when you buy them, the leaves are sticking up in stupid angles because of the plastic. But this humongous leaf here, she's grown for me since she's been here and in the beads, so that one's doing really well too. So that's that little group of orchids. And then over here I've got my little sundews growing. They're doing really well. They catch lots of little gnats for me, and I just fill that up with some spring water and keep them there, and they're doing well. They get a little bit of afternoon sun. And then also I thought I'd do an update on the Cattleyas I had over here. If you remember, I had that little green one that was looking really poor, and I was worried that all the roots looked like they had died back. Well, it has come on tenfold. So here she is here. Look at all those roots. So they actually developed like a day or two after I did my clip and said, my poor little Cattleya is dying, I think, and should I repot it? Because you can see here all the roots at the back look quite brown, and these are all the new roots that it has shot out since that video clip I did. I did look back on my video clips and found the actual name of it and just wrote out a tag. So it's like a pale lime green flower. It's got like purple lip and a yellow throat. It's really pretty. So that's why I put it in this green pot. So remember, it is a green one. The cane hasn't really desiccated anymore. This little back cane here has. It's just really, really dried out, but it is going to survive. I feel pretty happy that it's not going to die on me now, although there are no, you can see here, there was where it had like a new little lead, a new growth starting, and when I repotted it, it died back. And hopefully we'll get something from somewhere in there eventually. This is my beautiful Snow White, and those tiny little growths are now these quite large ones. She's doing really well. I can get her out here without damaging anything too much. I'll just turn this around so we can see how big her new growths are. There was 3. There's one over the back here as well. So yeah, I am going to have some new flowers hopefully. So I don't know how this works because, as you know, I've only just started with orchids, but all of these beautiful growths that came, that like I didn't grow all these, they seem to have like a little nubbin down inside of them. And I don't know, does it mean these won't ever flower, or they may flower this time, and then these little guys, when they grow to full size, they will then flower and then I'll get new growths? Because if that's the case, I've got lots and lots of, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know, they will or won't. But also down here, now I've just spun that around, this is exciting. Looks like there's another new growth coming on there. So that's really cool. That will focus. I don't know if that will focus. There we go. Look, another one on that side. Hopefully. This plant is just so vigorous, it just wants to grow. And all I do is, Wednesday is my water day. So what I do is I empty all of these plastic pots, because down the bottom there's water, or there's water with feed in it. And then the plastic pots have like little wicks, 4 little wicks underneath, and that hangs down into the water and it sucks it up through all the beads. And so I just change their water once a week, every Wednesday, and I do nothing with them, which is really great. This is a new orchid. It came to me in a pretty bad way. It had a pretty flower and I was dazzled by the flower. Didn't really look at the canes or the condition of the actual plant. It looks like it's actually had a slug. I have a look in here. A slug has attacked that and eaten away some of the cane. But this was a beautiful little flower. Brassivola, Laelia Cattleyas, BLC. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So I've planted it in the Leica, and just its leaves are really pale. I hope it recovers and get some nice flowers. It has no new leaves or anything at this stage. It's quite doing nothing. And over the back here, this is my little oncidium, which I only have one, because quite honestly, I'm not good with these guys. Let's try and find a spot where you can see it properly. So both of the little leaves that it had here are starting to die back. This new growth has a little bit of a tinge of a dieback on it, but there is new growth over this side. If I just turn it around. So I noticed this morning, where is it? Oh, it's in the way. Yeah, just there, I've got a new growth coming out there. So yeah, I got this from, I can't remember, the orchid nursery somewhere down south, and it didn't have good roots, wasn't potted well, so at least it hasn't died back, so that's encouraging. And see how that goes. Hopefully those new little growths won't die all the way back. But yeah, so that's my little collection other than the orchids that hang, that are on the other table. I do have some mounted orchids, so I'll do a little clip on those and do an update on my mounted orchids for you. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll come back with another update in a bit and see how they're coming along. Thanks everyone, bye!